Hello everybody, thank you very much for watching. My name is Don. I want to do an important video because I think it's very important, because I've been, as the title suggests, is Pope Francis the last Pope? And God has revealed to me that it may not be the case. I've been given, some, God just revealed to me. I mean, even I obviously believed, Pope Francis, he has all the hallmarks of a false prophet, and as in Revelation, because there's the Antichrist and the false prophet in the end times. And I will, also, obviously I will start with the prophecy of Malachy, this Irish Pope that prophesied about 112 popes in a row. I will give a bit of the background. Even I believed he was, like I said, Pope Francis was the last Pope, and 1 or 2 years ago. But now God revealed to me, as time is getting even closer, bit by bit, our eyes are open more and more. And what do you call it? And why is it important? Because he is, whoever it will be, and I will, tell you who it is if it's not Pope Francis. He is the one that will persecute. It will be through the tribulation. This Pope, he'll lead many astray and persecute true Christians. He will be behind it, and a lot of the apostasy, he will be behind that. Many will leave on behalf of him. So let me read some of the background of Malachy's prophecy to give you a little bit of a understanding. This is, I'm reading from here. Did St Malachy predict Pope Francis? Right. And read some of that. Right, let me see. From CatholicProphecy.org. It says here, but is the St Malachy prophecy real? And it says here, and does it truly predict the future? St Malachy was born in 1094 in Armagh, Ireland, and died on November the 2nd, 1148. St Malachy was canonized in 1190 by Pope Clement II and was the first papal canonization of an Irish saint. The source of the prophecy attributed to him is still, it says here, up for debate, but the following is how it usually related. While in Rome in 1139, St Malachy received a vision showing him all the popes from his day to the end of time. He wrote poetic descriptions of each of the pontiffs and presented the complete manuscript to Pope Innocent II with the motifs, of each pope. But he says here, he gave the complete manuscript to Pope Innocent II, but the prophecies were forgotten in the Vatican until 1590. So it's from 1139 all the way to 1590. It was forgotten, so a couple of 100 years. And these mottos in the prophecies usually refer to a family name, a birthplace, a coat of arms, or an office held before election to the papacy. And for example, this is it, Pope Pius II, whom Malachy predicted, was a pope for just 26 days in 1503. and was prophesied by St Malachy as de parvo homine, which means from a little man. And his family name was Piccolomini, meaning Italian for little man. Can you believe that? Also, St Malachy sometimes used the Pope's personal history to make a motto. So like, for instance, Pope Clement the 13th, 1758, who had connections with the government of the Italian state of Umbria, and whose emblem was a rose, was called by Malachy Rosa Umbria, the Rose of Umbria. So is uncannily accurate. I'll give you some more examples. According to the St Malachy prophecies, Pope Francis is the last pope. That's what whoever wrote this, people believe that Pope Francis is the last pope. I will get to that point. It says here, and it goes on to say, mottos that St Malachy predicted almost accurately. One, and he called Pius the 12th, 1939 to 1958, angelic shepherd. Well, it says here, Pope Pius the 12th was a very spiritual pope, and he received visions which has not been made public. Peter Bander says Pius the 12th has emerged as one of the great popes of all time, and he was, in the truest sense of the word, an angelic pastor to his flock. So he predicted it accurately. He said angelic shepherds. He also said Pope Pius XII received visions as well, and claimed to be one of the best pastors. And also he called John 23, Pope John 23, 1958 to 1963, pastor and marina. Well, John was a beloved pastor to the world and a patriarch of Venice, a marina city. So in a way, he was a pastor and a marina because he was patriarch of Venice. It's so, so uncannily accurate. I'm coming down to flower of flowers. Pope, that was the motto that he used to distinguish this Pope that Malachy used. For Pope Paul the 6th in 1963 to 1978. Flower of flowers, he called him. Paul's coat of arms depicts 3 fleurs de lis, iris blossoms. So again, now we're going down to Pope John Paul I, 1978 to 1978. It says here of the half moon. That's what Malachy said of Pope John Paul I. Pope John Paul I was elected Pope on August 26, 1978, when there was a half moon. Would you believe it? Malachy said of the half moon. So John Paul I was elected Pope precisely on the half moon, on the 26th of August 1978. He reigned only 33 days, about 1 month or 1 lunar cycle, and then he died. He says he was born in a diocese of Belluno, in other words, beautiful moon. Isn't that funny? He was born in a diocese of Belluno, beautiful moon, and was baptized Albino Vicini, white light. He became Pope on August when the moon appeared exactly half moon. He died the following month, soon after an eclipse of the moon. So everything is said so far. And now we're going to recent ones. John Paul II, he called him, and Malachy called him, the labour of the sun. Pope John Paul II, like the sun, circled the globe many times in his evangelical travels. He was born May 18, 1920 on the day of an eclipse of the sun. Likewise, his funeral took place on the day of a solar eclipse. Can you believe that? So uncanny. And now Pope Benedict, that recently resigned before the last Pope we have. Pope Malachi calls him the glory of the olive. Now Pope Benedict the 16th, who was from 2005 to 2013. Pope Benedict the 16th took his name from the Saint Benedict, whose order was known as the Olive Tans, the glory of the olive. Most scholars concluded long before the election that St Malachy's prophecy alluded to the connection to St Benedict, so they could work it out. Also of note, Jesus gave his apocalyptic prophecy about the end time from the Mount of Olives. Now, the final one, this is what he said, prophecy of the final one. He called him Peter the Roman, and this is what I want to talk about. Is it Pope Francis, or is it someone else? God revealed it to me. This is what Pope Malachi said. Unlike the other people, he assigns numbers, 111 to be exact. He predicted 111 popes. I just gave you some examples in a row. 111 popes. But this one, he didn't assign a number. I'll go into it maybe, if not this video, another. He just called him Peter the Roman. In Latin, it's called Petrus Romanus, I think. This is what Malachi said about Peter the Roman. This is the final pope. Malachi added this to his final prophecy. This is what he said: in the final persecution of the Holy Roman Church, there will reign Petrus Romanus. That's it. Who will feed his flock amid many tribulations, after which the seven-hilled city, that's probably obviously the Vatican, will be destroyed, and a dreadful judge will judge the people. It just says the end. So that's what he said, the prophecy, that whoever it will be, obviously a lot of people believe it's Pope Francis. This will be the time of the tribulation, and it says that at the end of that, which the seven, says it after, when he feeds the flock amid many tribulations, after which the Vatican, says it, the seven hills city, or Rome, Vatican, will be destroyed, and the dreadful judge will judge the people, and God will come and end false religion. So this is, I will talk more about it. I found an article very, very interesting, which I believe will give some more light upon it. But let me read a bit more. Let me give you some reasons why I don't believe the current Pope is the last Pope, Peter the Roman, that Malachi said. For instance, we'll talk about resignation of Pope Benedict, which says the resignation of Pope Benedict, this is from Wikipedia, on the 28th of February 2013 at 1800 hours. It says here, after having been announced on the morning of 11th February 2003 directly by himself. So Pope Benedict, the previous Pope, the 16th, resigned on the 28th of February 2013. Announced on the morning, this is here, after having been announced on the morning of 11th February 2013 directly by himself, Benedict XVI's decision to step down as leader of the Catholic Church, the Pope, made him the first Pope to relinquish the office since Gregory the 12th in 1415. Phew, wait, that's a long time. The first Pope to relinquish the office since Pope Gregory the 12th in 1415. The first to do so on his own initiative since Celestine V in 1294, and the first after Vatican II. So it says here, the move was unexpected given the popes in the modern era have held the position. Would you believe it? So he was the first pope to resign in hundreds of years, and that, so he why is it important? Because he didn't die. Okay, we must remember that he actually resigned. He did not die. Most popes died before another pope was re-elected. Do you understand what I'm getting at? This is the first pope to relinquish since Gregory the 12th in 1415. Hundreds of years. Everybody, the pope's position is till the end, till he dies. And soon after, he resigned on the 11th of February 2013. I do remember, we got the new pope. Pope Francis took his place, and let me read about the background of Pope Francis. And that's one, as I said, Pope Francis took over Pope Benedict when he resigned. So I really believe, that's one point I believe, Pope Francis is in a way illegitimate. He's not the last Pope, because Pope Benedict resigned. In fact, Pope Benedict, has resided in the Vatican, even though he resigned, he's still there, because to make known his thoughts. And they've done a new, I think, series about two popes, because Pope Francis is still alive and is in the Vatican and makes his thoughts known to even the current pope. They have different, different thoughts and beliefs almost. But anyway, so one, I don't believe Francis coming to be pope is legitimate, because, as I said, you have to. Benedict didn't die. That's one. Secondly, this is a bit about Pope Francis. Pope Francis' real name is George Maria Bergoglio. Sorry if I pronounced it wrong. George Maria Bergoglio. He was born on December 17, 1936 at Flores, Buenos Aires, Argentina. He is Argentine by nationality. He is religious leader's pope by profession. He is the son of Maria Jose Bergoglio, father, and Regina Maria Sivori. So his mother is Regina Maria Sivori, and that. So basically, another more points that I don't believe it's Pope Francis is the last pope, which usher in the tribulation, persecution of the church, and etc. It's because here it says that Pope Francis' real name is George Mario, not Peter. See, there's, as I said to you before, after studying a bit of his prophecies, Malachi, he assigned numbers to 111 of them, popes, but he never assigned a number to the last one. It's his own name. He's using his own name. The last one, that's got to be his own real name. Giorgio Mario. He didn't say Peter. So this, again, it can't be the last pope because George Mario is not Peter. And he's meant to be a Roman. He's meant to be Italian. And he was born in Flores, Buenos Aires, Argentina. So you have all these things. He's not the last pope because he's illegitimate in a way. He wasn't properly elected because Pope Benedict resigned. He didn't die, and two, his real name is not Peter. And Buenos Aires, he was born in Buenos Aires, so he can't be Roman. He can't be Italian. They say that his parents were Italian immigrants, but he was born in Argentina. So, there's a lot of things that I believe it's not Pope Francis. Not this one. The current pope is not the last pope, or known as the false prophet.